Welcome to EvalMySkills.com, where you can get a very quick, unbiased evaluation for your sport. Though we have multiple sports, today we will be taking you through how to use the baseball evaluation. Once you click on the baseball site, you'll notice we have all sorts of different features, including being able to go to softball, but you also choose your player's age, choose your player's height. Let's say this player's 6'3", make him a switch hitter, throws right, positions third base. Level of competition can be a tough one, but for the most part, the majority of players will be a level 2 competition. And then we have arm score. Arm score is measured in miles per hour. However, if you do not know how hard you throw, there's a little helpful tool called the poor man's radar gun. The poor man's radar gun is a great tool. It simply takes how far you can throw a baseball, and it converts it into a miles per hour score. You can see that once we change the value to 210 feet, we got a 67 mile per hour reading. If you do not know how far you throw, you can very simply go to the baseball distances to get a good idea for that based off of a normal field. So if you were throwing from the foul line and you were throwing to your partner and you know how far you can reach, you can get a good idea of distance from this chart. If you actually want to measure how far you can throw, you can go to our distance calculator tool, which simply takes a Google Earth image and allows you to plot 2 points and know exactly how far that distance is. In this case, we opened up and here's Yankee Stadium. So if you happen to be throwing at Yankee Stadium and you're throwing from the foul line and you know you can hit the warning track, you can get your exact distance as to how far you can throw a ball. Once you have that value, you can then plug it back into the poor man's radar gun. In this case, let's say we're throwing 83 miles per hour. And then you can take that value and plug it right back into your arm score. You can either use the toggle buttons or just simply type in 84 or 83. Then that will give you then an arm score. For the running score, the same thing. If you're running a 60-yard dash for 13 years and older, a 40-yard dash for 12 and older. If you do not know your 40 or 60-yard time, use your best judgment. In example, if you know you're the fastest kid in the state, make yourself a very fast runner. Just understand that an average runner would run about a 5, would have a running score of about a 5. If you do know your running score, just plug it in, and your score will come up. For you to get your power score, you're going to need to input distance of how far you can typically hit a baseball. And once again, you can go to the distance chart here and see just a normal spread of how far distances are on a typical high school field, or a youth field if you go a little lower. Again, you can still go to the distance calculator and you can plug in your exact field, your high school field. Since I don't know where your high school field is, you can type in, let's pick Cal Ripken Senior Yard in Aberdeen, Maryland. Depending on how it searches, you may need to do a little bit of finding. In this case, I can see the baseball field right there. So when we zoom in, we can click on home plate and get an exact measurement of how far we can hit. You can then take that value and say that's typically where you hit at the center field, and then move it to where you tend to pull the ball. In this case, it's about 390 feet is what it's kicking out. Once you plug in that value into your power score, you'll see a power score actually pop up. In this case, it's a pretty good one for a 17-year-old. And then we go to our hitting score. This is just simply asking for your batting average at the level of competition that you're playing. So, for example, if you're a level 2 competition and you're hitting 400, that is the value you should plug in. Moving on to fielding score. There's already an overall, it already inputs an average fielder for everybody. However, you can adjust that, and if you know you're an above average fielder for the level of competition you're at, you can modify it accordingly. Once all these values are inputted correctly, you will see that an overall score is generated. And this overall score just kicks out a basic overall athletic value. Probably the more interesting values, however, are the values that it kicks out for each position, which you can see below. In this case, it shows that this player would be best valued as a third baseman at higher levels. If you want to input your ERA, for example, not 200, let's say 2.00, which is a good ERA, your pitching score will be adjusted. If you know your pop time, you can add your pop time there, and your catching score will also be adjusted. Prior to those values being inputted, it just assumes a rather low value for position. If you go up and you switch your throwing to left, being a left-hander, for example, you'll see that also the positions have been modified, and it takes out the positions that a left-hander typically will not play. All of these values can then be compared to the chart which is listed, which will give you a rough idea as to where you'll stand or where you might fall or where you might be expect to see and draw attention from scouts. It is not intended in any means to discourage any players from reaching any of their potential dreams. All it really is doing is showing you the level of athleticism that may be at the level that you're trying to. EvalMySkills actually encourages you then, once you have your real numbers, to then modify your lower scores, or modify scores as what you think you can improve. This tool is simply here to provide you an idea of what you need to work on to be able to reach the goals that you want. Thank you for watching this demonstration.